Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Feel It podcast. And today we have a special guest, Emily Judice, to share a bit about her choice to embrace exploring her drinking and an alcohol free lifestyle. So I'm just going to introduce Emily. Emily Judice is a wife and a mama to four. Emily is the definition of embodied. She talks the talk and walks the walk. She is a certified fat loss coach to thousands of women, and Emily inspires belief in women that they alone hold the power to create the life they love through nutrition and movement. And together with cutting edge fat loss strategies, Emily focuses on the beliefs behind true behavior change when it comes to getting healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And she encourages her clients to think of a new way, a new question, and to question deep rooted beliefs and step into the woman that they can become. And that is so similar to what we do in our coaching, questioning those deep rooted beliefs. So there's so much synergy here, and I'm just so excited to welcome you to the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be a guest, and thank y'all for having me.
Yeah.
Welcome,
I would
welcome.
we would love for you to just talk a little bit about some of your choices about exploring your drinking in relation to your business and in relation to your weight loss goals and how you coach women around that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So, my kind of journey with all of this started about 4.5 years ago, close to 5 years ago, when I kind of made the choice to start getting healthy. It's crazy because people who see me now on social media would never guess that I used to be this person who never worked out, ate fast food every single day, drank alcohol every single day. Like just, I look back and
wow.
consider myself like a lazy person.
Wow.
And, at the time I had just had my third baby and I was, wanting to lose the baby weight. That was the goal. And so I was like, I'm going to do this program and I'm going to learn how to eat and how to lose this weight and eat healthy and work out and all the things. And so when I did the program, I remember my coach at the time, me being like, okay, well, like, what about like wine? Like, can I have like wine? Like, can I have a glass of wine? Like, how often can I drink? Am I allowed to drink during this thing? And her kind of saying, well, let's try to limit it. And she explained to me how alcohol works in your body when you are trying to lose weight. It's like your body is going to focus on metabolizing the alcohol first before it can focus on metabolizing the food. And so if you have alcohol in your system every single day, your body's not really going to be able to focus on fat burning because it's going to be focused on alcohol burning. And so very quickly I was like, okay, I got to limit this. So I went from drinking, a glass of wine nightly or a beer nightly to let's just move this to the weekends. And so I remember this being like a really tough thing for me, like very, very tough. And I was only having like one glass of wine a night, but I remember my husband would get home from work and I would be like, oh, I just really want to pour like a glass of rosé or like I just really want to have like a beer.
Yeah.
And not at the time, I was just kind of like, oh, it's just because it's habit. Now knowing what I know, I'm like, oh, it's because alcohol is addicting. That's why I was feeling like that. And so, so I literally was moving to just the weekends. And that was where my journey started. It's like it went from 7 days a week to 2 days a week. And then year two, it went to, I don't know, maybe some weekends it was 2 days a week. Some weekends it was 1 day a week. And then year three, it was maybe one night a weekend. And then it's just like slowly over time, it has evolved to, I will say this past year is whenever I like dove more into, I don't feel that good. Like if I drink a glass of wine or two, I have headache the whole next day. And when I have a headache the whole next day, I'm on the couch the whole next day. And when I'm on the couch the whole next day, I'm not showing up like the mom that I want to be. And when I'm not showing up as the mom I want to be, I feel guilty. And then I don't get stuff done in order to feel prepared for my week. So then my week feels behind. It's just like, it just wasn't aligning with my goals, right? I am a high achieving woman. That is the woman I attract into my coaching business. I really love to work with high achievers who are trying to do it all. And the thing is like, if you drink alcohol a lot and you're a high achiever, like you're not going to be able to function at the top performing level that you need to.
Totally.
And so that is something that I've really discovered probably since, I want to say like August or September is kind of when this kind of took a shift. Because I would say up until then, up until August, September, I still had this mindset of I drink for special occasions, no big deal. I drink on the weekends if I want to, no big deal. But because I've like, aligned my life in a certain way, I'm not as social as I used to be. So that naturally made the alcohol become less. But I would never skip alcohol at a social event. I would never skip alcohol on a vacation. Like that was kind of where I was in August and September. Well, so then I kind of did this program where I was like, I want to focus on muscle building specifically for the next 3 to 4 months. And so I actually had to like go into a calorie surplus. Like this is getting a little bit scientific. And when you do that, you literally are gaining weight on purpose on the scale in the form of muscle tissue.
Yeah.
And I remember the coach that I was working with, because I'm a coach and I coach people, but I also highly, highly believe in hiring coaches for me. Like I want to learn and get better and all the things. So I'm always hiring mentors and coaches. And so I was working with her, and I remember her just saying like, alcohol really doesn't have a place in your life when this is your goal. So for the next 12, 16 weeks that you're doing this, limiting alcohol as much as possible is a good idea. And so I was like, okay, like I don't really drink that much, like once on the weekends, special occasions, like this will be easy. And it was. And during that period of time, I want to say, and that was the holidays, that was Thanksgiving, that was Christmas parties. During that time, I think I had maybe 2 drinks in a 4-month period. And I was like, I can go to Christmas parties and not drink. Like I can have Thanksgiving with my family and not drink. I can go to, a friend's birthday dinner and like not have the margarita. And I still am having fun. And I wake up the next day and I feel great. And I sleep great that night. And for someone who's a high achiever who is like scaling her business from 6 to 7 figures right now, it's like, I just don't have time to feel bad.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you said at the beginning of this, I have 4 children.
Yeah.
I don't have time, And so through all that, I ended up actually reading This Naked Mind and really learning like how alcohol stays in your system for 10 days after you drink. And I was like, oh my gosh, 10 days. Like I cannot be not at my top performing, effort level for 10 days. Like I don't have time for that. And so that kind of started making, it's like if I had the choice of should I have a drink or should I not, I'd be like, all right, what does my next 10 days look like? And 99% of the time, my next 10 days look like working, doing all the things that I need to do, as this high achieving woman. And, I'm an Enneagram 3. So like success, I'm driven, I'm ambitious. Yeah, exactly. So, there's just no room for alcohol. And so it really became, and plus This Naked Mind, of course, teaches you all these liminal points of like, yeah, it actually doesn't help with anxiety in social situations. It actually makes it worse.
Right.
Oh, it actually doesn't help you fall asleep and help you sleep good. It actually makes your sleep worse. So all these reasons why people drink in my life, around me, friends, family, everything. And like, let me tell you, when I come from a place of zero judgment, I do not judge people if they make the choice to drink. Like people in my family drink, like my friends drink, it's fine. But where I'm going in life and where my goals are going, I started speaking about it a little bit more on social media and how I kind of wasn't really drinking and I was going to birthday parties and I was going to events and I was just not having drinks. And I was like, yo, it's really not that big of a deal. Like I just like get like a little mocktail glass that has a lime wedge in it and I feel like fancy and fun and it's fine. And then I sleep good that night. And what's crazy is when you're tracking macros, which is what I do and teach people how to do, I can remember when I started the macro tracking journey, especially when I was in this like fat loss phase where you're trying to lose weight, figuring out like how can I fit in like a couple cocktails into my macros. And when you eliminate alcohol, it's just like not even a question. Like you don't even have to think about that. You're just like not drinking. So it's just more room for food and you don't have to worry about fitting alcohol in. And so, really like since August, I've just been, drinking less and less, like not skipping drinking for vacation, skipping drinking on work trips, which these were all, events in the past where like those would be like the exception to the rule. Like, oh, well, I'm on vacation. Oh, well, I'm on a work trip. Oh, well, I'm on, I'm at this party. And that would be when I chose to drink. And I really shifted away from that. And, you know, I said, I'm not at a point in my life where I'm like, oh, I'm never drinking again. I've made the choice to never drink again. I'm really taking it like one week, I don't want to say one day at a time. I don't want to drink on a daily basis or really even on a weekly basis, but I'm just taking it like one event, one thing at a time. And sometimes I don't want to say sometimes, like here and there, once a blue moon, once every 2 months, I'll be like, I think I'm just going to have a cocktail and I'll just see, I'll just see how this feels. And the handful of times I've done that, it's probably been 2 or 3 times this whole new year. We're 4 months into the year. I have not really loved it. I've had the headache for 2 days following the one drink. I have felt not my greatest. It's like alcohol is what's making you, stressed in life. Like I work with a ton of moms with young kids, and they're like, I need the wine at the end of the night because I'm very stressed out. And these small children. I mean, I have actually my daughter's birthday's today. I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Happy birthday.
And so I'm in the toddler stage.
Yeah.
And I know what that feels like when you're stressed at the end of the day and you've worked all day and you're like, I just want to take the edge off, and just like, it helps. It makes me feel relaxed, but like it actually makes you more stressed. It is the reason you're stressed.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the reason you're stressed. And so, I love it because when you remove alcohol, and this is the same thing I teach my clients about food, it's like, what's left with your life? Like if you didn't have access to alcohol, or if you didn't have access to overindulgent food that, didn't align with your goals, how does your life feel? How does your life look?
Right.
Does it feel happy? Does it feel fulfilled? There is nothing that will make you meet yourself like removing distractions and these buffers like alcohol and overindulgent food that are not helping you reach your health goals.
Yeah.
And when you remove them, it's like, does your life feel happy? If it doesn't, then that is such an opportunity to dig into that.
Yeah.
And, as humans, we're taught like path of least resistance, whatever feels easiest, whatever the easy way is. And so most people don't want to meet themselves. They're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with those problems. I don't want to deal with, struggles in my marriage or struggles that I'm having with a kid who's having really bad behavior issues at school. I don't want to deal with the stress of my job. I don't want to deal. So I'm just going to distract with this by eating the cookies and drinking the wine every night, because that feels easier than just facing the problem head on. But coming from someone who has done that, who has faced the problem head on, that is the key that unlocks true freedom.
Totally
true
agree.
Happiness, true joy, true contentment. If you want to just wake up every day and just feel content in your life, that is the key.
Yeah, I totally. Oh my gosh, you're like preaching to the choir here.
I'm like yes. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be taking people to church.
Yeah.
What I hear, is that you have so much curiosity and awareness, and like you're trying and experimenting. We call it
curiosity.
Data. Yeah.
Data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's curiosity.
Yeah.
Like, just get really curious. Like,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
is happening? Like, what if I don't drink the wine tonight? How will that make me feel?
Yeah.
And it's from a place of like compassion and grace, like giving yourself grace, giving yourself compassion, coming to yourself with love. This is not like a judging thing.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, like, can I enjoy this vacation without alcohol? Like, can I enjoy this, time with my family? Like, when you look at what you're really wanting in life, like, what do you want out of, the weekend time? What do you want out of a vacation? It's like, so often people tell me things like, I just want connection. We're rushing through the week with, our jobs and kids' activities and all the things. So then when we get to the weekend, it's like, we just want to be able to connect with our kids, connect with our spouse, have some like downtime, have some relief. And I'm like, all of those things can be accomplished without food and alcohol being a part of it. Now, I mean, yes, you do need to eat food. Obviously, that's what I teach people, how to eat correctly. And it's not about like never having a cookie ever again, but it's just about every day living consciously enough to make these mindful decisions about what you want to eat and if it aligns with where you are in life. And, like I said, there's been a handful of times this year, 2-3 times in 2024, where I've been like very mindful and chosen, like, I'm going to have a drink. One time we were at a brewery with like our family, and I didn't go into the situation. There wasn't this like heavy anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a brewery. Like, should I drink? Should I not? Like, I'm not really drinking anymore. It was just, it's not that, it doesn't have to feel that serious. Because to me, alcohol is so small. It's so much not a big deal that like I could take it or I could leave it. And if I leave it, no big deal. If I take it, maybe I'll regret that later. Maybe not. I just don't want to make it. It doesn't need to have that much power and control over me. And so that one day I was like, I'm going to have one beer. And it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. It was on a Saturday. I knew that if I had it at 2, I was like, you know, maybe I won't have the headache. And I didn't end up having the headache, and I slept great that night, and I felt great the next day. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But then, you know, it was probably another 8-9 weeks before I chose to have a drink again. And I'm kind of at that point, that stage in my journey where that's what drinking looks like for me. Maybe it's 5 times a year I choose to have a drink, but then maybe in 2025, I realize those 5 times weren't worth it. And then I make the choice to like not drink again. And so I just want it to be like, this doesn't have to necessarily be like a black and white choice, especially for a lot of the moms that I work with. But the crazy thing that has been happening is like, as I've been sharing about my journey, you know, there's definitely this fear for me, and this worry that like, what are people going to think? Are people going to think that I'm like judging them? Are people going to think I'm weird because I'm not drinking? Like, are people going to be like, okay, Emily, we know you're healthy, but like you're taking it to another level. And so it's been a little bit scary to share about my journey. But the amazing thing that has happened is how much of a positive response I've been getting from people. Oh my gosh, like I want to stop drinking. I want to drink less. Oh my gosh, this resonated with me so much. I mean, people I would never think. People that I'm like, oh, they drink a lot. They're probably looking at me like, you're crazy. And then they're the ones messaging me saying, I want to quit drinking, or I want to drink less. How do I do this? And I'm like, wow, oh my gosh, you know? And so...
You're turning into an alcohol freedom coach, and you didn't even mean to.
So I'm like, this is actually helpful to people, you know? And maybe there's people that are watching me on the sidelines, and they're not saying anything, but they're getting really curious about their own journey. They're getting really curious about like, oh, wow, like, should I be like, what? Should I be, you know, worried about how much I'm drinking? Like, should I be curious about that? Could I have fun on vacation without drinking? Could I navigate social events? And the answer is yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. And you might even enjoy your life even more if you don't do it. I use this example. It's actually interesting to like think back, even before August and September. Like, we go to the beach with my family every year in the summer. And last June we went for a week. So this was even before I had read This Naked Mind. This was even before I kind of had started drinking less on social events. And that week we were at the beach. You know, in the past, it's always been like, like we have ice chests of Michelob Ultra and White Claws. We're more of like a beer family on the beach, you know, and we all start drinking at like 10 in the morning, and we're just drinking White Claws and beer like on the beach all day, and it's fun and it's enjoyable and everything. Well, this specific trip, I was like, I don't know. I think I'm just like, I really want to feel good. And so I was like, I'm going to fix a huge Stanley of my mineral. I'm really big into electrolytes and minerals, and I make mineral mocktail. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm big on that. So I was like, I'm going to make a giant 40-ounce Stanley of like my mineral mocktail, and I'm going to drink that. And I'm not going to open a drink until I drink that, the whole thing. Well, normally it would be like, this is kind of bad. I probably should have been drinking more than this, but, it would be like 2:00 or 3:00 before I would finish the thing. So normally I was like opening my White Claw at 10 a.m. Well, now it was like 3 p.m. before I was even finishing my mineral. So then I was like, okay, like now I can open a White Claw. And that whole beach trip, I think I had one White Claw like 4 or 5 of the days. And like that compared to like old Emily, who was just, I never even kept track. I just drank on the beach all day. And it was just interesting because it's like, it's not that I made the decision, like when I was on that trip, like I'm going to drink less. It just was like, I want to feel good. What's going to help me feel good? I want to stay hydrated. Alcohol actually dehydrates you so much. And it's so funny because people think when they're on the beach, like, oh, I just want a ice cold beer because it's hot and sunny. And it's like, yeah, that's going to make it worse.
Right.
You're going to be more dehydrated. And so for me, I was like, I really want to be hydrated. I want to feel good. I want to have energy to deal with my kids. I had 4 of them. My baby at the time was like 11 months old. And so with that goal, the actions that aligned with that was just like drinking less. That was the actions. Like when you live in alignment, your actions align with your goals. That was just the actions that I took. And I left that beach trip being like, wow, like that was such a good beach trip. Like I went to bed early every night. I woke up early, which is like my favorite thing to do. I felt really good every single day. I did not snack all day endlessly on the beach because I was drinking and then wanting snacks.
Right.
So it was just interesting. Like it was just me getting really curious and interested in like, what could this look like if I don't drink as much? Will it make my trip worse? Will it make my trip feel bad? No, it didn't. It made it great. It was still great. It was still a great trip. I still got to connect with all my family. We live away from family now. So we love that trip because it's like all my nieces and my nephews and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were all super close. And I was able to connect with everybody even more than I would have normally because I was so present in my conscious mind and not drinking like endlessly all day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just love a couple of things. Number one, you're gorgeous and you're young and you're making this decision or you're exploring this now. You know, I work with older women, you know, in their 40s or 50s, and they've already, you know, their alcohol use has kind of, you know, the train has gone further down the track, so to speak, because they drank for a longer period of time. I love that you're exploring this when you're younger. And you know, this is just so in line with the way that Ruby and I coach. It's about a feeling-based goal, how you want to feel, and then making decisions based on how you want to feel.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the whole thing is like me working like as a high achiever. Like we said, I'm an Enneagram 3. You said me too.
Yeah. I'm a 7.
The thing is it's like, I love it. I'm driven. I'm ambitious.
Yes.
I have huge goals. I'm an achiever. I thrive on success and achievement and all of that. And so with that is, you know, this drive that I have to do a lot. And so a lot of times Enneagram 3s can get caught up in the like over-functioning, overdoing, overthinking, fight or flight, revved up, high cortisol, adrenaline, all that stuff, which isn't necessarily good because we can get addicted to that stress cycle. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
But, you know, with that is like my whole life, my AirPods keep falling out. My whole life right now is dedicated to me feeling amazing, literally. And the reason I say that, and a lot of people are like, yeah, but you have 4 kids and you have a husband. It's like, yeah. And the only way that I can perform at the level I need to as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner is to 100% focus on taking care of me. And so when I think about like every day and how I need to feel good, I need to feel my best, I need to be performing at like A+ level every day, right? I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have room in my life to eat unhealthy and, you know, stay up till midnight watching Netflix and sleep in on the weekends and escape my life with alcohol. I just don't have the luxury of that because of the goals that I have.
Yeah.
And so whenever I think about how my whole life is literally dedicated to feeling good, alcohol just does not align with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And are those things really are those things really luxuries? Isn't it more of a luxury to wake up early?
It is essential. Yeah. It is essential. Yeah. So that's the thing. A lot of people think, oh, well, that's a luxury that you get to work out. That's a luxury that you get to spend so much time and focus so much energy on your health and feeling good and eating healthy and all that. And I am like, as a high achieving woman, it is essential. It is vital. It is not an option to be healthy.
Yeah. There's this.
It actually helps you make money. That's how you get money. If you want to make more money, get healthy.
Get healthy. I know.
I love a high achieving woman. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this concept that I wanted to share with you that I really resonate with, and it's kind of aligning with what you're saying. It's like control equals freedom. For me, if I control, I actually have way more freedom to feel better and enjoy. Yeah. So controlling that I'm not drinking, controlling my eating, controlling my bedtime routine, my morning routine. Like these things seem like they're not freedom, but actually if you do little things and you're going to have your practices or your daily habits that are in aligned with how you want to feel, then it gives you so much more freedom in the rest of your day. So I love this kind of concept.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I use a very similar thing, but I don't use the word control. I say routine equals freedom.
Routine.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
So it's like
Maybe
it's
better.
the routine where it's like, yeah, control just makes it feel like, well, it's like you can't always be in control because like obviously there's
Right.
circumstances that happen in your life that you can't control. But it's not about being a slave to the routine. It's about following the routine, but also allowing yourself enough flexibility. And that's a huge thing that I coach on is like creating margin in your life so that you're not a slave to the routine and you can ebb and flow when you need to and you can pivot when you need to. But the routine is really what creates freedom. And, you know, this is that whole weekenders mentality. You know, I have this weekenders identity that I talk about a lot, where you use the weekend to create the life you want to live, not to escape the life that you have. And that mentality, that identity is, so many people think that when they get to Friday, it's like the way that they're going to feel relief and joy and contentment is to just like forget about their week and find this false dopamine in fake TV and drinking and overindulging and ordering takeout and going out to eat and staying up late and sleeping in and just like kind of like vegging out all weekend. But that is not what is going to give you the joy and the freedom that you want. It's the routine. It's like it's the empowerment you feel when you get to a Sunday night and you're like, I did great all weekend. I followed my goals. I feel energized. I cannot wait. It's like no more Sunday scaries, no more Monday mood. It's like you get to Monday and you're pumped for the week. You're excited for the week because you just spent the weekend creating your life and you get to like go through the week. You know, you're prepared. It's like, I never start a week. We have 4 kids. They're in activities. I mean, my son plays baseball. My other son plays tennis. My daughter does dance. They do piano. Like we have activities, right? I'm just as busy as the next mom. And we still have a dinner plan every single night of the week. We do not eat out during the week, really ever. We never go into a night and are like, what's for dinner? What should we eat? Like there's always a plan. And we know like, okay, baseball's at this time, so we need to cook dinner by this time. Like we just know all of that. And we know this because on the weekends we spend time planning for that. We also spend time, you know, getting caught up on laundry and making sure our house is orderly because those are the things that stress people out during the week. But also those are the things that you're not going to have energy to do on the weekends if you are eating 3 baskets of chips and queso and 2 margaritas on Friday night. Saturday all of a sudden becomes you wanting to lay on the couch all day, or it becomes you yelling at your kids to get in the car because you're late for the soccer game on Saturday morning. And you're in a bad mood and you're irritable because you didn't sleep good the night before because you had 2 margaritas and because you had 3 baskets of chips and queso. And that is not creating the life you want to live. That does not align with most people's goals.
Right. Oh, I love how intentional that is. Yeah. Most of us just, so work hard party hard on the weekend. That just throws you into that cycle. It's like being intentional about how you want to live your life. I use structure and Ruby uses control. I use self-discipline. So within discipline, there is freedom. There is the life that you want.
Absolutely. And part of discipline and part of routine can include things that feel restorative to your soul, like watching a movie with your kids. It can include like making a bowl of popcorn with your kids for a movie night. It can include, it can include going out to a restaurant. But it's like, can this be mindful? Can this be intentional? Can it be not, oh, this week has been so bad. I just want to go out to eat. I want to clean the kitchen. I don't want to cook, blah, blah, blah. And then you go and you're ordering 5 appetizers and all the things. And then you leave the meal and you're like, you can't even breathe. You have to unbutton your pants. Like that is not living consciously.
Right.
But like, can you go to the restaurant knowing that you're going to get to connect? You don't have to clean the kitchen. That's really exciting. You don't have to cook a meal and you can still order a healthy meal that aligns with your goals and leave the dinner feeling really good and empowered and sleep good that night. And it can be a part of your life. It's just about doing it mindfully.
Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, we are at the point in our podcast where we ask our guest what they are doing. It sounds like you're doing so much like on a daily basis, but what you would do to feel lit in your life. Yeah.
So I love this so much. I think that my answer, and it kind of goes along with what we've been talking about for a bit now. A lot of people would be like, that's so boring. Like, I don't want to do that. But this is what makes me feel so lit every day of my life. And this is why I get to go through my life 7 days a week and feel so energized, so intentional. There are not days that I have where I'm like needing coffee at 3 p.m. because I'm so exhausted. That just doesn't happen for me because I take such good care of myself. And because the things that I do to feel lit are boring, that is why I get to feel lit all the time.
Right.
So I would say my bedtime routine, my morning routine, I am sleeping by 9 o'clock every single night.
Wow.
I do not do blue light before bed. Mm-hmm. So my phone is plugged in the bathroom. Because as a high achieving woman, I do fall prey to that scrolling my phone. It's like that wired and tired where like you can't fall asleep at night because you're so wired, but then you're so tired during the day. And so I have taken steps to make sure that doesn't happen. So I plug my phone in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. I don't even turn the TV on. I read before bed. I'm sleeping by 9. I wake up early around 4:30 or 5. I have intentional time with myself. So funny, my parents are in town right now. And last night my dad was like, I said something about me waking up at 4:30. He was like, why do you wake up at 4:30? And I was like, because I have 4 kids, Dad, and the baby is home off and on with me during the day. I have sitters here and there, but like a lot of times I'm trying to work and do the things with the baby here. So if I want quiet time to work, it's early in the morning. But I also use that time for nervous system regulation. I usually go on a 45-minute walk in the morning when I first wake up outside, without AirPods, without a podcast, without music. I am just with myself, being present with myself, focusing on all my 5 senses. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I taste? What do I smell? And that truly is what makes me feel lit. That is how I'm able to show up as the mom that I want to be. That is how I'm like that girl. Like when people are like on social media and they're looking at me and they're like, gosh, she's just like that girl, like who has it all together, has like, I walk the walk, but I talk the talk, but I also walk the walk. Like I'm not just a social media highlight reel. Yes, there's hard things in my life, but I have designed and created my life to feel the way it feels. And I work really hard to help it feel the way it feels. And I get to feel lit every single day because of doing the hard things that end up making your life feel a heck of a lot easier.
Exactly.
Wow.
You are speaking our language. Everything you say is like what we are about too. And this is the secret sauce. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It is. And the secret sauce is simple, not easy, but simple.
Yes, so simple. So
simple.
So simple.
Well, so inspirational. I'm like, I do not get to bed at 9 p.m., but you are inspiring me. I've been doing time blocking, so that's where I'm creating more structure. But this is a very inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
So nice to meet you.
It's so great. Nice to meet y'all too. Thanks for having me.
Well, where can people find you so they can follow you and be inspired even more?
Yeah. So Instagram is probably where I'm the most present on a daily basis. I post on stories pretty much every single day. You can learn a lot from my feed. Yeah. Emily Eats and Chats is my Instagram handle. Go follow me, send me a DM. I would love to talk to you about your journey, how you are trying to get healthier, what you feel you struggle with, as an overachiever, like me, because it can be tricky, but there is absolutely a way to navigate it. There's absolutely a way to have it all, to have the health, to have the wealth, to have the happiness in your relationships. And I want to instill that belief in women.
That is amazing. Well, we'll put that in the show notes also. And I love following you. It's always inspirational. Good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that was a